Ever have one of those days where you're crazy busy but get absolutely nothing done? You know, the kind where you're answering emails, checking social media, making to-do lists about your to-do lists, but somehow your actual priorities are sitting there untouched. Well, today we're going to fix that. I'm sharing 27 productivity hacks that actually work. These are practical strategies I personally use to get more done in less time. And the best part, you can start using these right away. In fact, I bet by the end of this episode, you'll have at least 3 new ways to take control of your day and finally start checking off those big important tasks that move your business forward. So grab your coffee, put away your phone, unless you're listening on it, and let's get started. You're listening to the Productive Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Tonia Kendrick, and I'm on a mission to help online business owners like you focus on the right things and take imperfect action. Every week, you'll get my best tips on everything from time management and content creation to planning effectively and managing mindset issues, all in an effort to help you become more productive. So let's jump into this episode. Before we get started, I just want to mention that I'm recording this episode on November 11th, which is Veterans Day. If you are a veteran, I want to thank you for your service. My dad is a veteran, and I'll be meeting him for the American Legion Veterans Day program after I finish recording this. It's at 11 o'clock, the 11th month, 11th day, 11th hour, which, if you don't know, is when the armistice was signed with Germany to cease fighting for World War I. That's why we honor veterans every year on November 11th. So to make sure I get there on time, let's dive into hack number 1. Create a plan. Without a plan, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. And if you don't know what you're supposed to do, how can you be productive? It's a chicken and egg situation. 90-day plans are my favorite because they allow me to be flexible and stay focused. I can get the right things done and pivot as circumstances change. I share all the details about how to craft an effective 90-day plan in episode 25. I'll drop a link to it in the show notes. Hack number 2, plan your day in advance. In addition to a bigger picture plan like a 90-day plan, you should also plan each day in advance. A daily plan will help you stay on track with your priorities, and it will help you ensure that you don't miss anything important like a doctor's appointment or your kid's soccer practice. You can create your daily plan the night before or first thing in the morning. Start with time-specific stuff like appointments, then add in deadline-driven tasks, and finally pop in your want-to-dos. Hack number 3, just say no to busy work. Busy work is insidious, y'all. It creeps into your day. You feel like you're being productive, but you're really not. Busy work can also be a form of procrastination. You do the busy work to keep from doing the hard, scary project that you actually need to be working on. Working on Pinterest often falls into this category for me. I really need to be doing other things, but I spend time making pins instead. One way that I combat that is to push the busy work off to an otherwise unproductive time. So for example, I might make a few pins at night while I watch TV. I take my laptop into the den and make a few pin graphics. Making pins is something I enjoy doing, but it's not the highest and best use of my time. Hack number 4, know your moneymakers. These are your MVP tasks, most valuable and profitable. Think client work, product creation, lead generation, not perfecting your Facebook cover for the 100th time. Hack number 5, rock those to-do lists. Asana is my go-to tool for managing to-do lists. Break down your projects into actionable steps, and here's the key. Put those money-making tasks we just talked about at the top. Hack number 6, time blocking. This is my secret weapon, folks. Block specific times for specific tasks. When it's email time, it's email time. When it's content creation time, that's all you do. I have a whole episode about time blocking, and I'll drop a link to it in the show notes. Hack number 7, stop multitasking. It's so tempting to try to do multiple tasks at the same time. It seems like it would be more efficient. But here's the thing, you are never really doing multiple things at once. When multitasking, you're constantly switching back and forth between two tasks. Each time you switch, your brain has to catch up and you lose time. And the more complex the task, the more time you lose. Lost time equals lost productivity. Hack number 8, batch similar tasks. Batching similar tasks goes hand in hand with stop multitasking. It's more efficient to work on similar tasks in a group because your brain is already in that mode. For example, when I'm working on social media, I create all my graphics in one batch. Then I write all my captions in another batch. If I try to switch back and forth between creating graphics and writing captions, I lose the flow. Another way to batch is to block off specific days to deal with certain types of work. For example, I have one morning a week devoted to administrative tasks. Take regular breaks. You may think that taking breaks would reduce productivity, but studies have shown that taking regular breaks can actually boost productivity. Breaks reduce stress. When you're intensely focused on a task, a break gives your brain a chance to rest. And breaks help you maintain your energy levels so that you aren't so exhausted at the end of the day. I like to work in 1-hour blocks with 45 minutes of work and a 15-minute break. I set a timer so that I don't forget to take the break. Hack number 10, use an app to schedule meetings. Who hasn't been through the endless back and forth emails trying to schedule a meeting? It doesn't have to be that way. There are many apps that will help you schedule one-on-one meetings or group meetings. For one-on-one meetings, I've used You Can Book Me and Acuity. I'll drop links to both of those in the show notes. You can link your calendar app and choose the times that you're available for meetings, and then just send a link to the other party and let them schedule a time at their convenience. You can also use a scheduling app like Doodle to schedule meetings with multiple attendees. You can quickly narrow down a time that most attendees are available for the meeting. Hack number 11, use the 2-minute rule. If something takes less than 2 minutes, do it now. If it will take longer, add it to your task management system. Hack number 12, use templates for regular tasks. If you're going to do something more than once, use a template. A template gives you a starting point, whether that's a layout or a written passage. With a template, you never start from a blank screen, so you'll save time. The prep work is already done for you. You can create or buy templates for so many things: social media graphics, Pinterest graphics, emails, slide presentations, spreadsheets, projects, etc. Hack number 13, use canned responses. Canned responses are a type of template, and in fact, I think Gmail calls them templates now, but I think they're worth mentioning separately. If you find yourself answering the same email questions over and over again, set up canned responses. They let you quickly answer those frequently asked questions with a predetermined answer. Hack number 14, use the Eisenhower matrix. Divide your work into 4 categories: important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important but urgent, and not important or urgent. Focus on the important stuff. I go into more detail about the Eisenhower matrix in episode 21. I'll include a link in the show notes. Hack number 15, use a password manager. How much brain space are you wasting trying to remember passwords? Free that up by using a password manager. I use 1Password, which works across all my computers and mobile devices. There are a lot of other options that you can choose from. Don't overthink this, just pick one. Hack number 16, try productive procrastination. Let's face it, there are times when you just can't be uber productive. Maybe you're bored or burned out or just low on energy. Have a couple of fallback activities ready to go. If you're sick of your current project, move on to something else that's just as important but is a different type of work. It will feel fresh and new. If you don't have the mental energy to work on something important, then try a task that doesn't take much mental effort. Clean out a digital file, pay a few bills, do something physical. Hack number 17, turn off notifications. Seriously, if you have notifications turned on for your phone or computer, turn them off. Earlier, we talked about multitasking and the productivity cost of switching tasks. Notifications encourage you to try to multitask. Every time you hear that ding, you think, oh, I'll just check that really quickly. What if it's important, like from a client or a question from a prospect? But you know what? Even if it is, they can wait a little bit. Hack number 18, schedule email time. Email can be such a time suck, which is why people are always looking for email productivity hacks. My favorite, instead of relying on email notifications, is to schedule 1 or 2 times during the day to reply to emails. You could choose the beginning and end of the day. Or if you want to eliminate the possibility of getting distracted in the morning, check email at midday and again at the end of the day. To make this hack easier to implement, close out your email tab so that you aren't tempted to check it when you're working. Hack number 19, schedule social media time. The same goes for social media. You can and should schedule the time that you participate on social media. Set up a time in your daily schedule to check in on your preferred platforms. I strongly encourage you set a timer for this so that you can stay focused. It's way too easy to fall down the social media rabbit hole. Get in and get out. Hack number 20, ignore the news. Trying to keep up with the news can be just as distracting as social media. Turn off all news sources while you're working. The news will still be there at the end of the day. I think this one is especially important right now. I'm personally having a hard enough time focusing without letting the news distract me during my work time. Hack number 21, block distracting websites. Turning off notifications may not be enough to keep you from getting distracted. If you find yourself constantly checking social media or email, you may find it useful to block those sites altogether. There are many browser extensions you can use to keep you out of distracting websites during the workday. I've been using Stay Focused for years. I'll drop a link to it in the show notes. You can add the websites that you find distracting to the block list, and you can set up the times that you're allowed to check those websites and the times that you're not allowed to check them. And you can even give yourself a time limit on those sites. Hack number 22, track your time. When you track your time, you'll start to figure out how much time you really have and how long things take to complete. This will make you a much more efficient planner. You can use an app like Toggle if you want to track your time regularly. If you don't want to track your time long term, another option is to just keep a manual time log for a couple of weeks. There are also apps and Chrome extensions that will automatically track the time you spend on various computer tasks. This can be a good way to see how much time you really spend on email, social media, etc. I use Rescue Time for this, and I'll drop links to both Toggle and Rescue Time in the show notes. Hack number 23, ditch perfectionism. Perfectionism is a productivity killer. I say this as a recovering perfectionist. Trying to make things perfect is a waste of time. It can't be done. Decide what's good enough and stop there. One of my favorite sayings is done is better than perfect. I have to tell myself this all the time. Overcoming perfectionism is something you have to practice, so keep at it. Hack number 24, learn keyboard shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are real time savers. My favorites are Control C for copy and Control V for paste. I use them a million times a day, every day. Look up keyboard shortcuts for your favorite software programs and learn a few. Practice using them until it becomes second nature, and then learn a few more. Hack number 25, use a timer. I use timers all day, every day. I like to work in blocks of 45 minutes work, followed by a 15-minute break. When I sit down at my computer, I set my timer for 45 minutes. Anytime I'm tempted to switch tasks or check email or Facebook, I remind myself that I can do that when my 45 minutes is up. The timer keeps me on task, and I don't have to constantly check my clock. Hack number 26, keep a someday maybe list. I learned about this idea years ago when I read David Allen's classic, Getting Things Done. It's still one of the best productivity tips I know. A someday maybe list can keep you from getting distracted by the latest shiny object that captures your attention. Instead of chasing down that new app you heard about or starting work on that great idea that just popped in your head, write it down on your someday maybe list. You won't forget about it because you've captured the thought, and you can come back to it when you have time and either run with it or delete it if it doesn't seem so shiny anymore. Hack number 27, leverage your natural rhythm. Some people will tell you to do your hardest or most important task first thing. Others will tell you to start the day with something easy. I say, know yourself and pay attention to what works for you. I'm not a morning person. It takes a little while and a lot of coffee to get going in the morning. If I tried to do my most challenging task first, it would take me so much longer. Maybe you're at your best early in the morning. Or maybe you're a night owl and you get your best work done after the kids are in bed. Take advantage of your natural rhythm. You'll be more productive if you plan your day accordingly. All right, friends, let's wrap this up with some action steps. Here's what I want you to do. Pick just 3 hacks from today's episode. Yeah, only 3. We're not trying to overwhelm you here. Implement 1 hack per week for the next 3 weeks. Track your results. What's working? What isn't? Then, and only then, add another hack to your arsenal. Remember what I always say, done is better than perfect. You don't have to implement all 27 hacks to see results. Start small and be consistent. If you found this episode helpful, do me a favor and share it with another solopreneur who could use a productivity boost. I'll be back tomorrow with day 12 of the 30 podcast episodes in 30 Days series, and I'll be sharing how to make smart financial decisions for your business. Until then, keep taking action. And before you go, if you like what you hear on the Productive Entrepreneur podcast, then come check out the Organized Business Toolbox. It's my monthly membership for solo entrepreneurs who want to feel in control and take imperfect action to move their businesses forward. When you join, you'll get instant access to the training and resource vault, and a new toolbox or course drops every month. Plus, we have monthly Voxer office hours where you can privately ask me questions and get my direct feedback. If that sounds like something you need, the link is in the show notes, or visit ToniaKendrick.com, and I'll see you on the inside.